What's up, YouTube fam? Alright, so I'm gonna try my best to describe what I'm talking about because this is a complicated topic. But as you see in the name of the video, I'm talking about a philosophy that's better than stoicism. And what I'm gonna go into is a few things. The pitfalls of stoicism according to a Hindu philosophy. Now, something that you need to know about Hinduism is that there's many different traditions. Hinduism was called a religion by the Europeans or the Westerners, and then people started calling Hinduism a religion, but it isn't actually a religion. You see, Hinduism is more like a blanket, like an umbrella term for an extremely large range of different traditions that believe in very different things. So there are Hindus that are monotheistic, polytheistic, pantheistic, and even atheistic. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into what Hinduism is per se. I'm just going to talk about some of the particular philosophical takes that they have that I believe is a little more well-rounded than Stoicism. You see, something that Stoicism would teach you is not to be dependent on external conditions, right? To pay attention more to the internal. But according to some traditions within Hinduism, they warn you against attachments. And what happens is, if you stop caring about the outside world, the external situations, and start caring about the internal situations, now you have built two attachments. You're attached to your internal situations, and you're attached to avoiding the external situations. You see, within Hinduism, when they tell you to not be attached, they go really freaking hard. They will tell you that even not wanting to be attached is an attachment. So if you was to say, I'm going to follow this Hinduism philosophy and I'm going to not be attached to anything, then that's a new attachment. You're attached to not being attached, right? It's like saying, I'm going to get rid of all desires. Well, now you still have a desire. Your desire is to get rid of desires. You see? So what the Hinduism, at least the particular brand of philosophy that I'm aware of, would tell you not to be attached to the external world, not to be attached to the internal world, but neither should you be attached to avoiding either. What this means is the external world should not decide your entire life. But when something in the external world affects you, you're still allowed to take that in and choose a path to walk. You're still able to say, this external world, this external experience, this external situation is causing me discomfort. Well, you can avoid it and say, I'm just not going to be changed by the external thing, like Stoicism would tell you. Or you can say, I don't care that the external world is doing this particular thing right now. I don't really care that this particular thing is affecting me right now, but I am capable of changing some things so that external experience either doesn't happen or doesn't affect me as much. This means that you're required to perform an action to reduce or stop the negative effect of whatever's happening externally. Likewise, you can do this to whatever's happening internally. This means that you're neither attached to the things outside of you or inside of you, nor are you avoiding the things that are outside of you or inside of you. Rather, you take in all the information, do a inquiry about what is your true desire, what is it that you actually want, then decide on an action that will bring you towards your desired outcome. If that desired outcome is either adding or subtracting something internally or externally, then do so. Because ultimately, what this is telling you is that not engaging with the external world or the internal world, or you do engage with the external world or the internal world, trying to choose my words carefully here. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is that it's not the point. The point is not being attached to it. So for an instance, if there is an external situation that is affecting you and you're not able to change it, then you accept it and say, well, this is a circumstance of life and it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm okay with that. If you can change it, then you choose an action that will change it, and you do change it. And you do the same thing for the internal things. So if something internally bothers you, change it. If you can't change it, accept it. And this is a more well-rounded way of existing, because stoicism will tell you that if these external things control you, then this is a bad thing. And the reality is that external things will always control you. When you're hungry, you're going to need to eat. And technically that is external, because the way to take away your hunger is to consume something that's outside of you in the real world. And this can be seen throughout all of experience. So for an instance, I would need to brush up on my understanding of stoicism to give a more comprehensive analysis, but I'm going to be talking about this more often. So in future videos, you'll see more of these things, these topics being talked about. But right now, I want to basically let you know about this particular topic, which is not being affected by the external world. And the truth is that forcing yourself to not have a reaction or to be completely numb to the external world isn't the answer. Not saying that stoicism is literally telling you to do this, but for the most part, stoicism sounds like it's saying that you shouldn't have a reaction to the external world, or that you shouldn't allow external experiences and situations to either influence you or change you and stuff like that. But within the Hindu philosophy, it's recognized that that is true But even while that is being true, there are scenarios and situations where allowing yourself to be influenced by the external world is actually a good thing. So, for instance, if I am aware that there is too much pollution in the world, and that influences me to stop polluting the world, that's a good thing. Now, if I didn't care about external things at all, and it didn't influence me, and it didn't do anything to me, then I would say, the world is being polluted, I will ignore it. Or, the world is being polluted, I will not engage with that, and I won't let it change me. And I'm just going to be a rock. And I'm going to sort of prostrate and stare off into the distance on the side of a cliff while the wind blows through my hair and I'm in this stoic position. The reality is that there is a lot of situations where the external world will do things and you should react or at least act, where you should be influenced, where you should perform an action because of, and so on. So I'm going to be going into some of these topics to explain more about why Hinduism has a better philosophy than Stoicism. But you have to take into account that Hinduism is not just one philosophy. There are a very large amount, there is a very large amount of different philosophies within Hinduism. There are many different forms of religions within Hinduism, spiritual practices within Hinduism. It is very, very mixed, and there's so much, it is a spectrum. So you might find another Hindu philosophy that will tell you the exact opposite of what I'm telling you. And it really comes down to what you want to follow. But what I would recommend is that you look into all of the different, you won't be able to look into all of them because there's thousands of different philosophies and gods and so on. But you can look into the main ones and understand them and take the pieces that benefit you and bring you towards your desired outcomes and use those to benefit your life. And the ones that just don't apply to your particular desired life, you can learn from, understand them, and put them to the side. You don't have to live by every single word a book tells you or a guru tells you. You can take what's beneficial and leave what's not. All right, guys. See y'all later.